Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. The day is finally here. The day we get to know which fixtures Arsenal play. Obviously, we do know which fixtures Arsenal play. We know all the 19 teams are going to play home and away, but it's usually very important to know. There's a couple of fixtures that are very important to know. The first three games, we usually know that is very, very important. We know that's when we usually tend to lose our games. The first three games of the season, we need to know how our fixtures look for that. Our next two games after that, we obviously need to look at the Christmas schedule, the January schedule as well during AFCON. That's the time we lose the likes of Thomas Partey. Usually need to know which teams we are facing in and around there. We also need to know our last 5 games of the season. Very, very important. Now, this year is very different because this year there's a World Cup in between the seasons. So by the time we get to, I think we're playing 15 games and then there will be a break. So we are going to play against 15 teams. There are 4 teams you're not going to play against until after the World Cup. So that is another thing to know about this season. So the question I have for you guys is, which team would you want to start with this season? Which team do you want to start with? As I said, it doesn't really matter because you're still going to face every other team. But from you, from your perspective, which team would you prefer to face, and would you prefer facing them home or away? For me, let me show you guys the last 5 results we've had for the last 5 seasons. So they'll be scrolling down the bottom. Obviously, last season we played against Brentford. We lost that game 2-0. It was a very, very tough game. It was a very, very, very tough game, that one. And I felt like they set us up. I never like facing these newly promoted teams for the first game of the season. It's very, very tough. By the way, the fixtures come out in the next 5 minutes. Before Brentford, we actually faced another newly promoted team the previous season. That was Fulham. That game, we won it 3-0. And the previous season, we had another away game against Newcastle, 1-0. Newcastle is a different team right now. I do not want to face them away in the first game. And then we also faced Man City before that. I think that was Emre's first season. Yeah, it was. And before that, we also faced Leicester and beat them 4-3. Now, I think 3 of those games are the first games of the season in general. Brentford against Arsenal was the opening game of that season. Fulham against Arsenal, I think, was the opening game of that season, if I remember right. And also Arsenal against Leicester was a Friday night kickoff as well. Now, I would not want us to open up the season again. I do not want a Friday night fixture, let's say, against a Crystal Palace. Let me know which teams you'd like to avoid. Which teams would you totally like to avoid from the first game? Obviously, for me, Man City and Liverpool, you do not want to see Man City or Liverpool for the first game. That would be a nightmare, especially Liverpool. We always tend to face Liverpool in the first 3 games. It's always the 3rd game or the 4th game, always Liverpool away. I would not want to face Liverpool away in the 2nd or 3rd game. Definitely not. I don't care whether it's 2011 or 2030. I don't like facing Liverpool at Anfield. Also, those games like Crystal Palace away, Newcastle away for the first game, usually tough. Newly promoted teams, I don't know, man. I feel like they're going to give us Nottingham Forest or Crystal Palace away from home. Nottingham Forest, they would have set us up again. Nottingham Forest would be so hard. And we know Nottingham Forest has eliminated Arsenal from the FA Cup twice the last few seasons. I would not want that at all. So the fixtures come out in the next 5 minutes. Samuel says Crystal Palace is Arsenal's first match of the season. I did see those rumors. I heard that City could play Bournemouth, but that's just one of 37 fixtures that we need to know about. If that's truthful, I don't know if that's a truthful source. So let's just wait for the official from Arsenal's website. But which teams do you guys love to avoid in the first game? I'd love a home game. It's been long since we played a home game, right? Last season, we played Brentford away from home. The previous season, Fulham away from home. The previous season, we played against Newcastle away from home. So 3 of the last 3 seasons, we've started the season away from home. And it's never been easy for us for the first game. Usually, because we tend to wait too long to sign our players. And that's why I don't like facing tough teams at the beginning of the season. Every single season, we don't sign players early enough. We end up losing the first 2 games or the first 3 games like last season. And then by the time we sign players, we are already 9 points behind Chelsea, 9 points behind Man City, 8 points behind Tottenham, 7 points behind Man United. You don't want that every single season. Let's get our business done early this time round and go into these fixtures ready for the season. Let's not go into these fixtures again waiting for players. Last season, we signed Tomiyasu after we'd already lost 3 games. Ramsdale played for us after we'd already lost 3 games. Like all these new signings still playing after you already lost 3 games. So I don't want that again. Thomas Partey, he joined us after the season was already like 2, 3 games in as well. Let's sign our players early this time around. That's what I want to see. Gio, hope I'm saying your name right. Gio. I'm from Uruguay, Penarol fan. I know the team. I know the team. I know the team in Uruguay. Hope you're well. What time is it in South America? It must be night time. I know, like in Europe and Africa right now, it's morning. So good morning to you guys. But in Uruguay, it must be like 6, 5 o'clock or something. I think if we play against Everton, it won't be that harsh. I would love Everton, Stephen, for sure. I'd love Everton. Newcastle versus Nottingham Forest. That would be interesting. I just want to see. I love seeing newly promoted teams, especially a team like Nottingham Forest that I didn't get to watch live in the Premier League. That would be great to see a newly promoted team like that one. We are used to teams like Fulham and all those teams. We are used to them every single year. They come in, they get they lose the first 10 games, they get relegated again, they come back again. We are tired of such kind of teams. Tony, any new signing for Arsenal? Unfortunately not, but that is what we're talking about. We definitely do need new signings before we start these games. Let's hope we don't get 3, 4 tough teams in the first 4 games and then we end up losing. West Ham City, that would be interesting. Selema says, hi, morning, how are you? Gio says, do you speak Spanish? I wish. I really wish I could. I really wish I could. Really, really wish I could. Gracious, though. That's the only thing I know, Gio. That's the only thing I know. The fixtures come out in 1 minute. Let's start refreshing this Arsenal page. Yeah. By the way, I'll do a video talking about our preseason fixtures. We are going to play Nuremberg, Everton, Orlando City, Chelsea, Sevilla as well. The Emirates Cup is back this season. That's another thing. We are waiting for the official fixture list in the next 1 minute. I don't usually believe in the leaks. Let me just wait for the official fixture list. So Olua says, what's happening to Arsenal in this transfer window? Nothing yet. Hopefully, we do get Tielemans by the end of the month. I really want us to get those players early because I feel like if a team like PSG say they want Tielemans right now, we're in big, big trouble. If a team like, I don't know, Real Madrid say they want Gabriel Jesus right now, we're in big, big trouble. So hopefully we can get at least, if we get those 2 players before middle of July, then I'd be very, very happy looking forward to next season, definitely. Adebayo says, hi, I wish we sign, is it Adebayo or Adebayo? Because the one who used to play for Arsenal was Adebayo. I wish you sign players on time. I don't like the idea of bringing in players when the season has already started. There's no, if you're signing 6 players, if you sign 5 of them before the season and then maybe 1 of them after the season has started, no problem. But waiting to sign 90% of your players at the end of the season, I usually do not like that. Let's refresh this and see if the fixtures are out yet. Let's see. I really am begging you. How long do they take to refresh this, by the way? 20, yeah, they've put it out already, right? 20 fixtures announced. 20 fixtures announced. I've seen something like that. There you go. Let's load this page. Arsenal fixtures announced. Let's see what we have, guys. Let's see what we have. This season's Premier League fixtures have been announced, and we will start our campaign away to Crystal Palace. So it was true. I do not like that fixture, guys. Crystal Palace away is our first game. And it's going to be on a Friday night, which means that is the first game of the season again. This is the 4th time over the last 6 years we're starting the season. Our first game will be against Crystal Palace away from home. I definitely do not like that game at all. I do not like that game at all. Let's check out our other fixtures. Let's do this. Let's see. Crystal Palace, just like last season, we'll be getting the new season underway. The Friday night fixture away in London. The match at Selhurst Park will kick off at 8 p.m. UK time. Our first home games come the following weekend against Leicester City. Wow, Crystal Palace away and then Leicester City at home. I don't know. And we then have meetings with Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, and Aston Villa at home, all in the opening month. Now, looking at all those 5 fixtures, it's fair enough, but obviously the first two against Crystal Palace and Leicester would be very, very hard. Bournemouth away, a newly promoted team, Fulham at home, that would be great, and Aston Villa at home. At the beginning of the season, I guess it would be great. September kicks off with a trip to Old Trafford, where the first North London derby of the season is at Emirates Stadium at the start of October. Old Trafford, interesting. That's followed immediately by a home fixture against Liverpool. At least this time round, we won't have to play Liverpool early on in the season. We play Chelsea away at the start of November. The league resumes after the World Cup on Boxing Day when we host West Ham United. So you don't play the likes of West Ham United until after the season. So let's take a look at this. In August, we are going to be playing against Crystal Palace away, Leicester at home, Bournemouth away, Fulham at home, Aston Villa at home. Those are our first 5 fixtures in August. That will be on 5th, 13th, 20th, 27th, and 30th. So those dates will change. You might not play on Saturday. You might end up playing on Sunday, but that same weekend. So Crystal Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa. Let me know what you guys think about those first 5 fixtures. After that, in September, we will face Manchester United away from home. We usually face them away from home first. Everton at home, Brentford away. So last season, I remember we played Man United and Everton back-to-back games in December, and we lost both of them. I remember that very well. In October, we will face Tottenham and Liverpool in back-to-back games. That is a brutal October. October, we are playing against Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester City. Like in the space of, 14 days, we will be playing against Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City. Let's hope our points are already done by then. Let's hope we have collected enough points by that time. We'll also face Leeds away from home, also Southampton away from home, and Nottingham Forest at home. In November, we will face Chelsea away, then Wolves away, and then after that, we will have the World Cup. So we will play those how many games are those? 5, 8, 9, 10, 13, 15 games. Yeah, so you're going to play 15 games, and then we'll have a World Cup between. That's weird. We've never seen any World Cup in between the season. So this is the first time we're seeing a World Cup after the season has already started. So between November 13th and December 25th, there's no Premier League fixtures. That will be the World Cup and a bit of a break. And then after we come back, we'll play against West Ham and Brighton to finish off the year. And then in January, Newcastle, Tottenham, and Man United. Again, a very tough January considering Thomas Partey again will be off to AFCON. Once again, El Neni will be off to AFCON. If Pepe is still an Arsenal player, will be off to AFCON. And there's a lot of other teams, other African players we might end up signing, and they'll be off for January. That's another reason why I didn't really want Bissouma. Bissouma will definitely improve our squad, but in January, again, we'll have to start looking for other midfielders. But Tottenham and Man United during that spell, again, very tough. Tottenham, we were meant to play against Tottenham in January of last season as well, but that match got postponed, but very tough. February, Everton, Brentford, Aston Villa, and Leicester, 3 away games there. March, we have Bournemouth, Fulham, and Palace, and then April, 6 games, Leeds, Liverpool, West Ham, Southampton, City, Chelsea, and then our last 4 games of the season, very important. Those ones, especially if you're fighting for top 4 or whatever you're going to be fighting for. Newcastle, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, and Wolves. I mean, not bad. We have Newcastle again in May away from home. Again, you're facing them away from home in May. So this season we have Europa League. So that's another thing. When are we going to be playing our Europa League fixtures, and which games will be following up after that? So I'm guessing this September, maybe we'll play a Europa League game and then play against Everton at home. And then maybe in October, we play another Europa League game and then Liverpool at home. I mean, those are not easy games at all. What do you guys think of that fixture list? The fixture list is officially out for next season. Holua says that's not giving me joy. A lot of people are concerned about the transfers and are definitely understandable. Gerald says we shall win all those games. Oh, I wish it was that easy. You know, looking at the fixture list like that, I would easily tell you Crystal Palace, win. Leicester win. Bournemouth, that should be a win. Fulham should be a win. Aston Villa beat them home and away last season. It should be a win. Man United, we never win at Old Trafford. We rarely win at Old Trafford. We won at Old Trafford once in the last 16 years. So I'd say maybe draw. It's never that easy, man. Crystal Palace away from home in the first game, that is very hard. That is very hard. That is the kind of game you can easily end up losing 3-0, and then you're panic buying at the end of the transfer window. You have to panic buy. So let's see. Woody says, how come October we face 4 of the big 6 in 1 month? Let's take a look at that again. October, yeah, that's painful. Tottenham, Liverpool, and Man City. It's not even in the space of 1 month. It's literally the space of 2 weeks. We are facing all those teams. That is very, very tough. And funny enough, all 3 of them are at home. So that could be a good thing for us, Brooks. All 3 of them are at home. Last season, we gave City a tough game at our place. Liverpool only beat us in the second half, and Tottenham, we beat them at home last season. Luckily, it's not away, because if it was Liverpool away and then Man City away, then we'd have a lot of trouble, unless things change next season. But we all know they've improved. The likes of Haaland and Nunes have joined those teams. They're not going to go down. They're definitely going to improve. Giles says, I know together we can. Hopefully, we sign players before then so that we can actually win all those fixtures, as you say, Gerald. Hopefully, we do that. With the way you keep us, you really thank you, Stephen, very much. I appreciate it. Are we not going to get this Jesus again? Hopefully we do, Olua. Hopefully we do get him by the end of the month. But the fixture list is out. We usually have to look at the first 3 games and then the next 2 games after that, because for Arsenal, we usually end up losing the first 2 or 3 games, and then the next 2 games after that are very important. Hopefully this time we don't start with losses. We also look at November and November this time around because of the World Cup. We play Chelsea and Wolves right before the World Cup. So our final home game before the World Cup will be on 29th of October. And the next time we'll be at home will be 26th of December. So fans will not see Arsenal at the Emirates for 2 months in between the season. There's no any Arsenal games at the Emirates for 2 months before we play there once again at the end of October and at the end of December. So looking at that, which month would you say is the easiest for us, and which month would you say is the hardest for us? So the hardest month straight away looks like October. Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City, Southampton away from home. That is another game we never win, Southampton away from home. Leeds away from home, we usually win that. Hopefully we do this time round. And then Nottingham Forest at home. Interesting. I think October is the toughest month for us. I hope you guys, I'm guessing you guys agree. And the easiest month, I'd probably say it looks like March, because March we're going to play against Bournemouth, Fulham, and Crystal Palace. I say easy, but teams like Crystal Palace usually smash us every single season. So Crystal Palace, Fulham, and Bournemouth, 2 London derbies and a game against Bournemouth at home. I guess March is an easier month for us. Let me not use easy. Let me just say easier month for us than all the other months. And if we're still in the Europa League by then, I think we'll be playing like in the quarterfinal or something. That is very good. If you're playing against the tougher teams in the Europa League, and then you have Bournemouth on the weekend, or you have Crystal Palace on the weekend, Fulham on the weekend, that should be great. If we end up making the Europa League semi-final or final, the games that will be surrounding that will be games against maybe Man City and Chelsea. Oh yeah, April is also very tough. We also face Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City in April again as well. So we are facing Liverpool and Man City. The 2 times you're facing Liverpool and Man City, both of them come like 2 games apart from each other, 2-3 games apart from each other in the same month. So that will not be easy. And in April, City will be away, Liverpool will be away, and West Ham away. That is again another brutal month. I'd not even seen that. April, we face Liverpool away, West Ham away, and Man City away, and also Chelsea at home. I think April is actually the toughest month, if I'm not wrong. It's either between October and April. Let me know which one is the hardest, October or April. That is very, very hard. Easiest, I'm going to go for March, but that is the fixture list. Let me now confirm the other teams, which teams will be playing in the opening game of the season. Always very interesting. But yeah, we usually look at Tottenham. Our first game against Tottenham will be in October, and the last one will be in January. So you're going to play Tottenham October and January, and that will be it if no games get postponed this season. Man United September and January as well. We'll be done with both United and Tottenham by January. That is again very interesting. Both United and Tottenham, if you're going to be fighting for top 4 with both of those teams, we won't have any fixtures against them after January. We'll be done with them by January, which could be a good thing, which could be a bad thing, depends on how you look at it. We play against Chelsea in November and also in April. We play against both Man City and Liverpool in October and in April. We play which other team should we be looking at? West Ham. We play against West Ham in December and also in which other month in April. So those are the teams I kind of look at. But yeah, I don't like the Liverpool and away fixtures to Man City, obviously. Let's take a look at the other Premier League games of the first weekend. Good morning, Abdul. Hope you're doing well. Steven says it won't be an easy play for the boy, no doubt, but let's just hope they put in the best because as for me, I trust my boys. Steven is very bold and very enthusiastic and very positive, which I appreciate. So the opening season, Crystal Palace Arsenal, the opening game of the season will be Crystal Palace against Arsenal. There'll also be Man United against Brighton. I love that fixture for Man United. That is not an easy fixture for them. There'll also be let me just read for you. Bournemouth against Aston Villa. There'll be Leicester against Brentford. Tottenham against Southampton as the first game. West Ham against Man City on the first weekend. Everton against Chelsea on the first weekend as well. Fulham against Liverpool. That is a good start for Liverpool. Leeds against Wolves. Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. So Man City against West Ham is not easy. And Liverpool against Fulham. I'd say Liverpool has the easier fixtures out of all those teams, obviously. And for Man United and Brighton, Man United tend to win the first game of the season. They actually usually win it heavily. I remember them beating Chelsea 4-0, beating Leeds by 5. Those first games at Old Trafford, United usually smash those teams. But after that, we all know what usually happens. It's usually down from there for them. Let's see. So that's the first weekend. Crystal Palace, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leicester, Brentford, Tottenham, Southampton, Man United, Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, Leeds against Wolves, Newcastle against Nottingham Forest, Everton against Chelsea, and West Ham against Manchester City on the first weekend. That is very, very interesting. Hit the like button by there if you're just joining. I really appreciate it. Thank you for doing that already. Aziz, Hassan, Abdul, Bushura, Mba, Bale, Anderson, Owen, and anyone else who has done it as well. Really, really excited. Now, the next thing we are waiting for is Arsenal transfers. We need to sign players before we start the season because, again, let me show you again those fixtures. If you go into that season with only Marquinhos as you're signing and you're waiting to buy players at the end of August, you can easily lose to Crystal Palace and lose to Leicester in the first two games very easily. You expect Leicester to improve their team, and Crystal Palace away is not easy. You could easily, this time we are going to play 5 games before the transfer closes. Usually it's like 3 or 4 games at most before the transfer closes. This time, because of the World Cup in November, we are going to play 5 games before the transfer window closes. So you do not want to win just one out of those 5 games. You'd be far adrift. The ideal start for us will be win all 3 of the home games and probably worst case scenario, draw away to Crystal Palace because it's Bournemouth we have to win. Come on. I know sometimes it's easy to say, but if we start that season with 4 wins in a row, that would be great because in October, that fixture list is difficult. You want to win as many games as you can in August and September. And then in October against Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City, Southampton, you can afford to lose a couple. But you don't want to go there. If you lose to Crystal Palace and lose to Aston Villa, and then you lose to Man United, you go into October having already lost 3 games. You'll be like in 11th or 12th in the table. You don't want that. So hopefully, again, before we get into that World Cup, hopefully you're in a good position, somewhere in and around the top 5. You don't want to have that almost 2-month break looking at yourself in 20th or something on the table. That would not be great at all. The key fixtures, the other key fixtures will be the second weekend, Arsenal, Leicester, Brentford play against Man United. There'll be any other noticeable fixtures, Man City, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Crystal Palace. That is a good start for Liverpool. They play against Fulham, Crystal Palace, and Man United against Liverpool is the third fixture of the season. Man United, Liverpool will be played on the third weekend of the season. That is a good game to watch. Let's hope it's another 5-0 for Liverpool. We'll also have another noticeable fixture will be Leicester Man United on 30th of August. And there'll also be any other games here. Man United, Arsenal, 3rd of September. Everton, Liverpool, Merseyside Derby, 3rd of September. Aston Villa, Man City there as well. Man City play against Tottenham on 10th of September. Tottenham Leicester 17th of September. Arsenal Spurs 1st of October. The same weekend we play against Tottenham is the same weekend Man City play against Man United. So the North London derby and the Manchester derbies will be played on the same weekend. Now that is a very crucial weekend. If we beat Tottenham and Man City beats Man United, that could help us either increase the gap on Tottenham and Man United or decrease the gap if they're ahead of us. So that is a very important weekend for Arsenal. After that, Man United will be traveling to Everton. That will not be easy for them. But the problem is we'll also be hosting Liverpool, a fixture that I do not like. When is the last time we even scored a goal against Liverpool? Surely we'll score a goal against them this season. Liverpool against Man City will be played on 15th of October. So you'll have to wait like 2 months before the first and the top two teams battle it off. After that, this is another interesting thing. Liverpool and Man City play against each other on 15th of October, and then 3 days later, Arsenal face Man City. So hopefully Man City are very tired from facing Liverpool and we can at least get a point. But knowing Man City, they could easily rest Haaland in that one and play Mahrez and someone else. Man City have a lot of players. Let's hope we also have a lot of players by then. Man United play against Tottenham 19th of October. Let's hope that is a draw. And then, wow, United will have a tough period here. I had not seen that. So Man United will play against Man City somewhere in October. And then they'll also play against Tottenham in October. And they'll also play against Chelsea in October. So that is a tough month for Man United as well, October. Let's hope they lose all those games as hard as possible, not 1-0 or 2-0, 5-0 or 6-0. That would be great for us as well. They also play West Ham in the same month, Man United. In November, Chelsea play against Arsenal. Aston Villa play against Man United. There'll be Wolves against Arsenal in November as well. And then after that, so the final weekend before the World Cup, we'll see Fulham against Man United, Man City against Brentford. We'll have Spurs against Leeds, West Ham against Leicester, Wolves against Arsenal. So, man, very interesting. But yeah, let's see what you guys are saying. October and January are conqueror, says Tactical. Very scary months. And don't forget April. Nice seeing you by the Tactical. Hope you'll be doing well. April is not easy as well. Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, and West Ham in April. You could very easily, if we're in the Europa League semi-final by then, we could easily be facing a very tough team. We could be facing Man United in the Europa League semi-final. You never know at that time. You could be facing Man United there in the Europa League with us. We could be facing a team that has dropped out from the Champions League. We could be facing teams like, I don't know, Villarreal, Sevilla, any of those teams. I don't know if Villarreal is in any competition. I'm just giving an example. We could be facing an AC Milan during that time. So it could be a very tough April. In fact, I'm going to change my answer from October to April. I think April is the toughest month because Liverpool away, Man City away, Chelsea at home, West Ham away, Southampton, and a potential Europa League game there. And we've gone so long without winning the FA Cup. So I'm hoping in the FA Cup semi-final by then. It's going to be a tough month. April is going to be a brutal month. Very brutal month. Olua says, let's look at the way Liverpool and Man City sign their players. Once they sign within 2 days, they'll sign them. Again, I usually try not to compare us to Man City and Liverpool. I try to compare us to the Man United's, Chelsea's, and Tottenham's. Liverpool and Man City, if Man City say they want me right now, I'll just end this live stream immediately and be on my way. Because I know I'll be playing for Man City next to Haaland, and I'll be very happy and excited. Obviously, with the likes of Arsenal and Tottenham, not sometimes Tottenham are in the Champions League this season, but for the teams that are not in the Champions League, harder to negotiate and all that. So it's tough. That's why I would have loved to see us in the Champions League, to also see how quickly we get our deals done if we're in the Champions League. Maybe the reason why we don't get our deals done early is because we've been in the Europa League for like 5-6 years. Maybe that's another reason. I would have loved to see us in the Champions League to see any difference that would have made. Steven says the fixtures at some point feels like a torment for Arsenal, and on such worrying upcoming season, we seriously need good players so we don't have to have our hearts racing first when we hear that we are playing any big club. That is very true, Stephen, because the moment I saw Liverpool and Man City away in the same month, I got so scared, I freaked out. Awesome tactical. Top four will be very hard this season. I think sixth or fifth depends on Man United. Depends on the signings we make. If we sign, if we are this negative, but we end up signing Jesus, Tillemans, and I don't know, Victor Osimhen, all three of them I'll be going into those fixtures a different person. But if we end up signing one defender that we've never heard about, and then another youngster, and then go into the season not being ready, please, Arsenal, let's not go into this next season not being ready. Please, I'm begging you. We have to be ready. Sign at least 4 players before then, and let's go into it ready. Again, last season, we didn't play. Tomiyasu wasn't signed until we had lost 3 games. Ramsdale didn't play until we had lost 3 games. I think Ben White played 1 and then missed the other 2 against Chelsea and Man City. Luckily, this time we don't play against Chelsea or Man City in the first games of the season. Those games are very winnable. Olua says Jesus wants to join Arsenal, then let's take the money and sign him. Arsenal, we keep looking at different players. Why? I guess some of it is also the media. I get like Bissouma the last 2 years. I don't think Arsenal ever wanted Bissouma. It's the fans that wanted Bissouma. So you'll always hear a lot of rumors. It's usually interesting to talk about the players we've been linked to see which ones would do better for us and which ones would not work out for us. But 80% of them don't end up happening. And for Arsenal, like 95% of them don't end up happening. Until today, we've never signed Higuain or Benzema until today, 20 years later. Arsenal make us happy this season. Henry, how are you? He says, good morning. It's been a while here. Where have you been? Where on? I usually post on a daily basis on Facebook, by the end, daily basis. Please let me know when it's on YouTube. Please, thank you for your. Please let me know when on YouTube. On YouTube, if you just search for everything Arsenal, if that is what you mean, you can just find it on everything Arsenal on YouTube. If you just search for that, or if you go to the Facebook page, there's a link that takes you to YouTube. Watching live from Nigeria, nice seeing you. Let's hope we get Victor Osimhen from Nigeria very soon. We need to win Europa. I want some sort of European success. That is another thing that has really been bothering me. I've been trying to figure out on YouTube. I also do the kind of videos talking about the older players like Walcott, Thierry Henry, Perez. I talk about their careers at Arsenal, and every single time I look at those players, especially Henry, Perez, until today, I can't believe we didn't win the Champions League. Until today, I do not believe we didn't win the Champions League. We were so close a couple of times. We should have won it. The Champions League, the Europa League, the 2004 season, we should have won the Champions League. That 2006 one against Barcelona, we should have won. It's a lot of reasons. The red card, but conceding 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. The Europa League against Galatasaray in 2000, we should have won that game as well. We missed so many chances. It's not great seeing Arsenal without any European success, as Tactical says. We need some sort of European success just to get that thing. I'm tired of rival fans saying Arsenal can never win any European title. Even if we win the Europa League, that would be amazing. Even if the Europa League didn't take you to the Champions League, just winning that tournament, that would be great. Like, at least we'll know we've won the Europa League. Because I remember Chelsea going into the Europa League for the first time, I think, in 2013. They won it. Man United won it in, I don't know, 2017 or 2019. I forgot, 2017, I think. Chelsea won it in 2019. All those teams have won that competition whenever they've been there. Why can't it be us this season? We get a Champions League spot and you also have some European success. And then the Champions League, you can look at it in the next 10 years. But Europa League first, let's try and win that. We've been playing in that competition for 6 years. We've not won it. We lost in the final against Chelsea, lost in the semi-final against Atletico Madrid, against Villarreal. We lost against, which other team did you lose against? Olympiacos in that competition. Come on. I don't see Jesus coming. We never sign any links. Sometimes, I do understand that, but sometimes the likes of Thomas Partey, we are linked to the whole transfer and end up signing someone like a Kieran Tierney, but you're right. 95% of the times we don't sign those players. We don't sign those players. There's 40 of you watching on YouTube and Facebook. Hit the like button. I'll really appreciate it. We don't want to see small players in Arsenal this season. We want world-class players that can challenge for the Champions League. Let's hope the likes of Tillemans can join us. He's a very, very good player in that midfield. He'd improve us right away. Zukiswa says, Wagwan Glen. That sounds like a South African name. Am I right? Wagwan Glen, hopefully you're doing well wherever you are, wherever you're watching from. Who do Arsenal want to sign? Who do Arsenal want to sign? How long do you have? We can talk about that for the next 3 hours. Who do Arsenal want to sign? Arsenal want to sign Gabriel Jesus, Victor Osimhen, Aaron Hickey, Zinchenko. Arsenal want to sign Tillemans. Arsenal want to sign, I don't know, a new goalkeeper. Arsenal want to sign anyone who's available. If you can kick the ball and you've ever played football in your life, Arsenal probably wants to sign you. Everyone. Arsenal wants to sign everyone, but at most we'll get 5 players. So to answer that question, Arsenal wants to sign everyone. We want to sign Haaland. We want to sign Benzema again. Arsenal wants to sign everyone. Anyone who can play football, we want to sign you. So those are the fixture lists. Very interesting. I'll do another video covering that. But yeah, that's let's go through it one more time. In August, we will start the season facing Crystal Palace away from home. A very tough fixture. I do not like that. I'm like 40% confident for that one. I do not like that game at all. Crystal Palace away for the first game. Hopefully, they're not ready. But this is the kind of game we usually get at the beginning of the season. It is right there for us to lose. I know it. Crystal Palace away in the first game. Patrick Vieira against Arsenal. Crystal Palace looking to start the season off at a fantastic way. The first game of the season on a Friday night. Crystal Palace beat Arsenal. Arsenal go back to 20th again. Crystal Palace finished the Friday night first on the table. Zaha gets another penalty against us. Probably Odegaard commits the foul again, and then you'll hear about the first Friday night. You'll start hearing about why haven't Arsenal signed any players? We've lost to Crystal Palace again. Patrick Vieira is better than Arteta. I can see all these things in my head. Oh goodness me! Hopefully, it doesn't happen. That is definitely what is going to happen. You know it. You know that is what usually happens. First game against Crystal Palace at home. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. We could easily end up that weekend last again. If we lose by 3 goals, we could be last again after the first weekend. Hopefully not. Hopefully everything I've said is wrong, and we go to Crystal Palace and find they're not ready, and we are ready with our own players, the Gabriel Jesuses of this world, the Tillemans, and we smash them by 3 goals to nil, and everything that you said will be forgotten. And after that, we'll have Leicester and Bournemouth and Fulham again. And Fulham, not again, but for the first time, but Fulham and Aston Villa. Very good start to the season, I'd say. Decent start, better than what we've had the last couple of seasons. There's a time we had City and Chelsea. There's a time we had Chelsea and Liverpool. We always have Liverpool in the first 3 games. This time we're not going to Anfield until, oh, thank goodness, until April. We're not going to Anfield until April. I'm tired of getting smashed 5-0 against Liverpool in September, August. I'm tired of that. October and April are very tough months. In October, we face Tottenham at home, Liverpool at home, City at home, and Southampton away. But in April, I think that is the toughest month. We face Liverpool away, West Ham away, Man City away, and Chelsea at home. Very, very tough, considering if we are still in the Europa League by then, if we are still in the FA Cup by then, that is very tough. That would be very tough. We could be easily facing Man City in the FA Cup. We could be easily facing Man United in the Europa League. That would be a tough month. We also look at November this time, because after November, there's a World Cup this time round. And we won't play West Ham until after the World Cup. We won't play Brighton until after the World Cup. We won't play Newcastle until after the World Cup as well. So we play 5, 8, 10. That's 8, 10, 14. We play 16 games before the World Cup. So there's only 3 games that will not have played. 3 teams will not have played yet. That is West Ham, Brighton, and Newcastle. And then we always look at January as well, because that is the time Thomas Partey goes to AFCON. There's another AFCON next year. Teams are still qualifying for that. You expect Ghana to qualify, and all those teams. I mean, teams like Nigeria expect them to qualify. They just beat someone 10-0 the other day, so those teams will definitely be at the AFCON. If we have Victor Osimhen and Thomas Partey in the team, they'll not be there for January. Newcastle, Tottenham, and Man United, tough fixtures. Newcastle next season, they'll be better. Newcastle next season will be better. We always win against Newcastle at home, but Newcastle is a different team now. You saw how they beat us last season away from home, another ground where we usually win. Devils United, how are you, Maisie? Hope you're doing well. Are you happy the start Man United have this season? You're going to face Brighton in the first game. 16 points needed. Do you mean in the in the opening games, or do you mean? Let me know what you mean. Tactical. Which games? Like the first games? If Arsenal, obviously, you don't need just 16 points for the whole season. You'll be relegated. Hopefully, you don't mean that. Ayodele, hope you're doing well. Ayodele says if Arsenal still don't change their ways of signing, we will be far away from the rest of the top teams in EPL, including Spurs. Please don't say that. Not Spurs. We can't be behind Spurs again, please. But the truth is, right now we are behind Spurs. That is the truth. They are able to attract better players than us because they're in the Champions League. They assembled. How are you, man? Hopefully you're doing well. Good morning. I've got a funny feeling somebody who shouldn't be sold will be more than likely. It will happen in the last week of the window, which means we won't have enough time to have cover. Also, someone we wouldn't expect to be sold. So someone like a Gabriel in defense. Those are the kind of players you're talking about. Selling them to like a PSG on the final day, and then we'll have to play holding there for those games. The players who fall into that category are like Gabriel. The others like Ramsdale and Tomiyasu don't expect to leave. Maybe Gabriel or a Saka. I don't think Saka will be leaving. So I think Gabriel is the only one who could fall into that category of players who could end up selling. But there are players who are expected to go, like Nicolas Pepe. Not a lot has been talked about him, but I'd not be surprised if Nicolas Pepe goes. As I've said for the last 3 weeks, I'd not be surprised if he goes. If we still believe with the same players we have last season, if we still, I guess you mean if we still play the players we have from last season, we'll still have a lot of problems. Now, I don't think, again, let me change that, Ayodele. I don't think last season was a disaster. I think Tomiyasu was a good signing. He played well. Ramsdale played well. Ben White played okay. We still need to see more from Lokonga and Tavares. I think Odegaard was exceptional. Like Saka won our player of the season. I think Nketiah was better at the end of the season and he got his chance. Midfield-wise is the problem. Xhaka was okay. He can play for you all 38 games. El Neni came on and did okay. But as you notice, I say okay. Okay is not enough to finish in the top four and to battle for the Europa League and the Champions League. You need better than okay. I need to be saying great. I need to be saying in our midfield is great. Our striker is great. I don't need to be saying okay. Okay is not enough. Man City, if you look at Man City's squad up front right now is not okay. It's scary. Haaland, Mahrez, you need to scare your opponent. So you could be somehow right. We definitely need to improve some positions, especially with the injuries to Tierney. I still do believe if Tierney, Tomiyasu, and Partey didn't get injuries, would have been in the top four because the gap wasn't too huge. But we need enough cover because what tells you Thomas Partey, Tomiyasu, and Tierney won't be injured again next season? There's like an 80% chance they'll be injured again next season. And Thomas Partey goes to the AFCON in January anyway. And there's a World Cup in between there. Japan is at the World Cup. And Ghana is at the World Cup as well, right? Yeah, Ghana is at the World Cup. Yeah, I know Nigerians. There's some Nigerians watching this. Sorry, Ghana beat Nigeria, right? Yeah, Ghana beat Nigeria. And it was funny enough, Thomas Partey is the one who scored. But yeah, Ghana at the World Cup as well. So with Thomas Partey going to that World Cup, he could come back with an injury, very easily come back with an injury. So that is my fear. Tomiyasu could do the same as well. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But those are the fixtures for the 2020-2023 season. Assemble says Arsenal don't seem to be willing to buy the right players. They are bringing in bodies that don't necessarily mean squad improvement. So the first part, I'd actually disagree with the first part. Assemble, Arsenal don't seem to be willing to buy the right players. I think Arteta and Edu try too much to go for the right players, that we don't sign players on time. They're looking for the perfect player. And we saw that, we've been seeing that for the last 2 seasons. We look for the perfect player. That is why we didn't even sign a player in January. They said the words they use is we didn't get anyone who fit the plan. That's the words they used. So sometimes I feel like they look for the perfect player. We try to sign too much of the right player, and sometimes that could kill us. So you need to sign, if a player is good enough, like Tielemans, we know is good enough, he's Premier League experienced, go and get him. We don't need to hear about, can Tielemans really play next to Xhaka? That's Tielemans. How old is he? Is he 24? Oh, he's not 24, he's 25. No, we can't sign him. If he was 24, we'd have signed him. If he's 25, we can't sign him. All those are reasons that you don't need to hear about, man. There's no difference between a player being 24, 25, or, I don't know, having 6 or 7 years in their contract. I know the price is goes up with the more you have in your contract, but 6-7 years, there's no big difference there. Like, just sign the player. Tielemans is good enough. Sign him. Sign the player. Sign the player. We obviously don't expect Arsenal to get Haaland or Mbappe or such kind of players. They don't expect us to compete against Liverpool and Man City. It hurts me to say, but if I'm a footballer right now and Man City and Arsenal and Man United want me, I'm an Arsenal fan, but you'd obviously join Man City because you know that is where you're going to enjoy playing with Haaland, playing under Guardiola. You know that is the truth. It pains us to say, but it's the truth. So, can Arsenal improve themselves this season? Let's get out the players that would make the fans enjoy watching games. Let's hope, as someone said earlier, let's go into those first 5 games not concerned at all. If in August we have Saka up front with Gabriel Jesus and I don't know, Nabri or Martinelli, and then in the midfield you have Odegaard, and even just 3 signings that scored for the first 3 games. Just Tielemans, Gabriel Jesus, and I don't know, a new defender, one new defender or something. That would be miles better. But don't go into the season with the same players, obviously. That would be suicidal. Now, the players we have right now, without any signings, are they capable of beating Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Aston Villa? Yes, they are. We, even if we don't sign any players, we can still win those first 5 games of the season. But are the players that we have right now enough to go the entire season without falling apart? Definitely not, especially not if we have the Europa League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. At least this time we don't start the Carabao Cup early, because you're in Europe, you're going to start the Carabao Cup in the 3rd round and not the 2nd round. But a World Cup in between the season, that is interesting. Like, this season we have the World Cup and the AFCON. So these guys will play the World Cup in November and December, and also play the AFCON in January. We might as well just send the likes of Thomas Partey to their countries for 4 months without seeing them. We could easily not have Thomas Partey between December to like February. That is a huge chance of that. There's a huge chance of that happening. Arsenal, but some of our games are horrible, far below our standard. The Arsenal I used to know. I'm having headaches. Don't worry, Ayodele. It's definitely very. I wish we'd have had like a Henry right now. I wish we'd have had a Tony Adams. I wish we'd have had Ian Wright. I wish we'd have had Perez. I even wish, even if we don't like him these days, Van Persie in this team. Van Persie used to bang 40 goals for us. So even Van Persie in this team, I'd be very happy with that. That's a good point. Trying too hard. Yep. Steven says, Marquinhos guy, how good is he? Please. There's a video on the page. Steven, just go through the page. There's a video talking about who he is and the positions he can play for us. I'll put for you the link right now. Just check Facebook in the next 1 minute. I'll put for you the link there. But they're trying to add means we've signed Xhaka, Holding, El Neni, and Ketia. Wait, but they're trying to add means we've signed up. Are you saying like extending their contracts? Is that what you mean? Okay, I get what you mean. However you mean it, I get what you mean. By the next, for me, I feel like we shouldn't be having any Arsene Wenger players by now. We still have those 4 and the likes of Leno. In the next 2 years, Holding could leave Arsenal this summer. El Neni is staying, obviously. Nketiah is staying, obviously. And I don't think Xhaka will leave Arsenal. I think, guys, I think we need to stop talking about Xhaka leaving Arsenal. I think Xhaka could be retiring at Arsenal. I don't think he'll be leaving Arsenal until he's like 35. So let's just forget about that. Let's hope we can improve on him and have him on the bench, because I don't see Xhaka leaving Arsenal, man. The truth is there's not that many teams that usually want him. There's no one who's willing to pay 20 million for our players. No one is willing to pay any money for our players. Sanchez left on a free. Ozil left free. Ramsey left on a free. Cazorla left on a free. Aubameyang left on a free. Lacazette left on a free. You get the point. Every single player who plays for Arsenal lives on a free. We never get any money for any of our players. So Xhaka will probably end up leaving Arsenal on a free as well someday. Hopefully not. Hopefully we can get at least 10 million for him. Hopefully we can sign players, for goodness sake. Let's sign players. Hopefully Tielemans is the second player we sign. But Steven, the link will be in the chat very, very soon. Marquinhos, how good is he? He's good enough. Is he going to take Arsenal from 5th to 4th? Probably not. So I'd say don't expect too much from Marquinhos. He's not a first-team player. I'd not even be surprised if he's loaned out from Arsenal. I'd not be surprised at all if we decide to loan him until like a January or something, loan him out for 6 months. But if he stays, I'm obviously worried about this other guy called Pepe. I'd be very worried about this other guy called Pepe. They're trying to hard means. I've read that. And Wenger's player should not be nowhere near the team. How many do we have? Those 4 that you've mentioned and Leno. It's 5, right? You don't have more than 5 players who've played under Wenger right now. It's Xhaka, Holding, El Neni, Nketiah, and Leno. Do we have any other players who've played under Wenger? We've definitely gotten rid of a lot of players who were signed by Emery. Torreira, Arteta doesn't like Torreira that much, I'm guessing. Torreira doesn't like England that much anyway. He's not a fan of Pepe. He's not a fan of Saliba that much. All these players that came during the Emery era, I don't think Arteta fair enough. Arteta wants to build his own team. You can't really say anything bad about that. He wants to build his own team. Fair enough. So I've put the link in the chat, Stephen, of how Arsenal could line up and everything with the guy you've asked about, Marquinhos. But if you just scroll down the page, you'll see all that. Or if you want to check on YouTube everything Arsenal, you'll see those videos. Canon Fodder, hopefully you're doing well. How are you, man? How are you? Hope you're doing well, Alex. Hope you're doing well. What do you make of our fixtures? So last question before I end it. Which month is the toughest for Arsenal? For me, it's between October and April, mostly, or even January. One of those 3 months. Which one do you think is the toughest for us? Bellerin. Oh yeah, Bellerin is still at Arsenal, but I don't think Bellerin will be here at all. If Bellerin is at Arsenal next season, okay, he won the trophy with Real Betis last season, but if he's at Arsenal next season, I'd be very, very shocked. If Bellerin is an Arsenal player next season, I'd be very shocked. Where will he play, really? So I don't expect Bellerin to be an Arsenal player, and I definitely do not expect even Niles. I don't expect Niles to be here next season at all. Musana says, how far is the deal, Jesus deal? I'd say not close enough, not close as we'd want it to be. I think Tielemans one is ahead of Jesus, so we might sign. We should be signing Tielemans ahead of Jesus. There's no guarantee Jesus deal would happen. Do we need a striker? For sure. So that is the only thing that we are hoping. The fact that we need a striker, the fact that Man City have signed Haaland. Let's hope that is the reason Jesus wants to join Arsenal, and Arteta has been a coach to Jesus before. I want Arsenal to sign Tielemans. How are you, Kazola? Let me call you by your name, Remipa. Tielemans is the one that is closer than Jesus. You just touched one of my issue with Arsenal. We never get good money from players leaving Arsenal, even when says Fabregas is hot. Yeah, so yeah, I guess you're talking about the players leaving Arsenal on a free. What can we do, man? What can we do? It's a lot of players. That has always worried me. There's even players we've not mentioned, even players that were not really great at Arsenal, like Mkhitaryan and Willian. All of them left on a free. Like Ramsey had won us 2 trophies, and he left on a free. Sanchez was Arsenal's player of the season, like in 2015. He left us on a free. Van Persie, like 20 million to Man United, won them a trophy. Just 20 million. I know the transfer was different then, but just 20 million. Aubameyang, more than 100 goals for Arsenal, lives on a free. Lacazette, 5-6 years at Arsenal, still has like 2-3 years in his career, lives on a free as well. It's crazy. Like, we need to change that. How many players leave Arsenal? Like, when I hear teams like Chelsea wanting to sell Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi for 30-40 million, I'm like, how can Chelsea sell Loftus-Cheek for 30 million and Ramsey, Aubameyang all left Arsenal on a free? It's crazy. October is a nightmare, says Steven. So Tottenham at home, Liverpool at home, Man City at home, Nottingham Forest at home, Southampton away. So October is a nightmare for Steven. For Graphine, is it Graphine or Graphine? I think October, because we have Man City, Liverpool, and Spurs, it will be hard for our team. So Graphine, I think you've not checked April yet. Just check April. Now, in October, the one you've pointed out, we play Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City at home. Now, in April, we play Liverpool away. We play Man City away. We all know what happens at Anfield and Etihad. We usually get smashed 4 or 5. We also play West Ham away. We also play against Chelsea. We also play against Southampton, and we play against Leeds. And possibly, we could be in the FA Cup or the Europa League quarterfinal or semi-final somewhere there. So that is why I think April is more difficult, because the games against Liverpool and Man City are away. But obviously, you could still argue October if you think Tottenham is harder than Chelsea, or if you think the away game to Southampton is tougher than the away game to West Ham. Depends on you, but it's either between October or April. In Ketia, I'm sure you didn't think Xhaka would still be at Arsenal. Ainsley Maitland-Niles is still here. Oh yeah, Niles is another one who was here under Wenger as well. We should have sold Niles 2 years ago when Wolves wanted us to give us 25 million. That is the time we should have sold him. Niles should not be an Arsenal player right now. I'm not the biggest fan of Niles. Some of you still love Niles because he can play in various positions and you feel like he's been unlucky. But some of those players shouldn't be here. We should be Tomiyasu, great, Ramsdale, great, all these players from the other day, great. But players from 2014 should not. How many players who were playing for Liverpool in 2014 are still at Liverpool? I'm pretty sure it's like only Henderson or something. All those players who used to be there for Liverpool, Balotelli, Ings, I don't know, their goalkeeper, Mignolet, all of them are gone. Chelsea players in 2014, 2015, Pedro, Hazard, Diego Costa, all of them are gone. David Luiz, Willian, all of them are gone. All these are players from the last 4 or 5 years, but we still have players from a long time ago. But that list of 6, 7 assembled, that could be dropped to like 4. I'd not be surprised if the likes of Holding leave this summer. And let's see what happens to the likes of Pepe. Let's hope the transfer news is positive today and tomorrow as well. But that is the fixture list. I'll do separate videos on that. Very, very interesting. Thank you guys for watching. Hit the like button, follow the page, subscribe, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.